Blind Cat led rescuers to a crying baby, and how she found him will shock everyone. In a world often filled with despair, where stories of hope can seem like a distant memory, a remarkable tale emerges that restores faith in the extraordinary connections between animals and humans. Picture this: a blind cat, navigating her world with remarkable courage and determination, becomes an unlikely hero in a dramatic rescue that takes everyone by surprise. This incredible story begins on a seemingly ordinary day, but it quickly transforms into a heart-pounding narrative of discovery and compassion that will leave you breathless. On that fateful afternoon, the sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm, golden hue over a quiet neighborhood. The sound of children playing and birds chirping filled the air, offering a delightful soundtrack to the day's routine. However, amidst the tranquility, a quiet cry pierced through the ambient noise, a sound that would soon capture the attention of a cat named Whiskers. This unassuming feline, with her striking white fur and gentle demeanor, had lived her life in the shadows, her sight stolen away by a congenital condition. Yet, in her world of darkness, Whiskers had developed an extraordinary sensitivity to sound and scent, allowing her to navigate her surroundings with uncanny skill. Whiskers belonged to a loving family who had adopted her after she had been found abandoned. They quickly learned that her blindness did not define her. Her spirit shone brighter than any physical limitation. As Whiskers roamed the house, she relied on her other senses to explore her environment. Her family adored her, often marveling at how she could find her toys, navigate around furniture, and even curl up on the couch beside them without hesitation. Little did they know that Whiskers' unique abilities would soon transcend the walls of their home and lead to an extraordinary event that would touch the hearts of many. One day, while exploring her familiar territory, Whiskers suddenly paused, ears perked, as she detected a faint sound, a soft, desperate cry that echoed through the air, pulling at her instincts. It was a sound that tugged at the very essence of compassion, a sound that would set in motion a series of events that would astonish everyone involved. As the cry grew louder, Whiskers' heart raced. Guided by an innate sense of duty, she took a bold step outside. The sun warmed her fur as she ventured into the unknown, her determination unwavering. Each careful step was a testament to her resilience. She was not just a blind cat, but a beacon of hope in a moment of crisis. The cries resonated through the neighborhood, and Whiskers followed the sound with a fierce sense of purpose, her instincts sharper than ever. Meanwhile, a nearby family was enjoying a peaceful afternoon when the cries reached their ears. Concerned, they stepped outside, looking around for the source of the disturbance. Their eyes widened in shock as they noticed Whiskers moving purposefully down the street, seemingly drawn by an invisible force. It was then that the family decided to follow her, curious about where this remarkable cat was headed. As Whiskers continued her journey, she led the family down a narrow path, through a small patch of trees, and into a secluded area of the neighborhood that was often overlooked. The cries intensified, and with each step, the tension in the air thickened. The family, now closely following the blind cat, shared anxious glances, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Whiskers' unwavering confidence was contagious, and they found themselves hoping against hope that she was leading them to something miraculous. Finally, they arrived at a small clearing, the source of the cries now unmistakable. What they found was nothing short of shocking. Nestled among the underbrush, they discovered a tiny baby, no more than a few months old, wrapped in a blanket and abandoned. Tears streamed down the child's face as they cried out for help, a heartbreaking sound that echoed in the stillness of the afternoon. The scene was both tragic and awe-inspiring. A blind cat had led them to a life in need of saving. The family wasted no time. They rushed to the baby, their hearts filled with urgency as they comforted the child, gently lifting him into their arms. Whiskers, too, seemed to sense the gravity of the situation. She approached cautiously, her gentle purring filling the air, as if she understood that her role in this moment was far from over. Her instinctual understanding of the emotional landscape allowed her to provide solace to both the baby and the rescuers. As they cradled the baby, the family quickly called for help, dialing emergency services to report the discovery of the abandoned child. The operator on the other end of the line was astonished by their story, urging them to stay on the line until help arrived. Meanwhile, Whiskers remained close, her presence a comforting reminder of the bond that had brought them all together in this incredible moment. Seconds felt like hours as they waited for the sound of sirens to fill the air. The family, overwhelmed with emotion, whispered soothing words to the baby, promising that everything would be all right. Whiskers, in her quiet way, seemed to understand the urgency of the situation. She nuzzled against the baby, her warmth and love palpable, as if to say, "You are safe now." It was a powerful image, a blind cat, embodying the spirit of compassion, standing vigil over a child in need. When the authorities finally arrived, the scene had transformed from one of despair to one of hope. The paramedics rushed in, assessing the baby's condition with practiced efficiency. The family shared their story, recounting how Whiskers had led them to this miraculous moment. The rescuers were astonished by the cat's remarkable instinct and keen sense of purpose. They knew that without Whiskers, the outcome could have been far different. In the days that followed, news of the incredible rescue spread throughout the community, capturing the hearts of everyone who heard it. Whiskers became a local hero, celebrated not only for her bravery, but for the powerful reminders she embodied about the unbreakable bonds of family, compassion, and the unexpected ways in which lives can intertwine. As the baby was taken into protective custody, authorities worked diligently to find out how he ended up in such a vulnerable position. The investigation revealed shocking details that would provoke deep discussions about child welfare and safety within the community. Whiskers, the blind cat, had become the catalyst for change, drawing attention to the pressing need for better support systems for families in crisis. The story of Whiskers and the baby serves as a poignant reminder of the resilience of life, the power of love, and the extraordinary ways in which we can all make a difference, no matter how small we may seem. In a world that often feels divided, this tale of unity and compassion resonates deeply, reminding us that heroes come in all shapes and forms, and that sometimes the most unlikely saviors are those who see with their hearts rather than their eyes. As the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the abandoned baby continued, local authorities were faced with difficult questions that demanded immediate attention. The community, shocked by the revelation of a child left to fend for himself, rallied together, united by a shared sense of concern. Town hall meetings sprang up, where residents expressed their outrage and sadness over the incident. They sought to understand how such a thing could happen in their neighborhood, a place they had always considered safe and nurturing. In the days following the rescue, Whiskers became a symbol of hope and resilience. But she also stood as a reminder of the systemic issues that often go unnoticed. Local social services took notice of the growing public sentiment and began discussions about enhancing resources available to families in crisis. There were calls for improved access to mental health services, parenting classes, and financial assistance to prevent situations like this from recurring. The narrative surrounding Whiskers' heroic act shifted from one of mere astonishment to a broader dialogue about the responsibilities of the community in safeguarding its most vulnerable members. Among those particularly affected was the family who had followed Whiskers to the baby. They had 3 children of their own and had always been engaged in their community. They felt a profound sense of duty to speak out on behalf of the infant who had been abandoned. They shared their story with local media, recounting how Whiskers had guided them to the child, but they also emphasized the importance of addressing the root causes that lead to such heartbreaking situations. Their passion for advocacy grew, and they began organizing grassroots efforts to support local charities focused on child welfare. As the local news stations covered the story, they highlighted various organizations that were stepping up to help. Nonprofits dedicated to family support began hosting community workshops, educating residents about available resources and the importance of reaching out for help when needed. The outcry for change was palpable, transforming the sense of despair into a powerful movement toward healing and support. Throughout this, Whiskers remained a constant presence in her family's home. The cat, now a local celebrity, was showered with love and attention from neighbors and friends alike. Her gentle demeanor and courageous spirit inspired many to reflect on the true meaning of heroism. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the family would gather on their porch, Whiskers nestled among them, sharing stories of hope and resilience. They often spoke of the baby and the profound impact that one small creature could have on so many lives. One evening, as they sat together, the youngest child, a curious little girl named Lily, asked her parents, "Why do some people hurt others?" The question hung heavy in the air, echoing the sentiments of the community grappling with the complexities of human behavior. The parents exchanged glances, knowing they had to approach the topic delicately. They explained that sometimes people struggle in ways that can be hard to understand, and that it's essential to offer compassion, not just judgment. They emphasized the importance of kindness, community, and the need for everyone to look out for one another. As discussions continued, the local authorities announced a plan to implement a community watch program aimed at fostering connections among residents, encouraging them to be vigilant and supportive of one another. The initiative was met with overwhelming enthusiasm, as neighbors began to understand the value of collective responsibility. Whiskers, the blind cat who had unknowingly sparked this movement, was often seen as the unofficial mascot of these new efforts, bringing people together in unexpected ways. Meanwhile, the baby, who had been named Noah by the foster care system, was thriving in his new environment. His story touched the hearts of many, and the community rallied around him, providing support and resources to ensure that he would have a bright future. Whiskers' heroic act had not only saved a life, but had also ignited a fire within the community to become advocates for change and support those in need. As time went on, the bond between Whiskers and her family deepened. Her presence became synonymous with warmth and comfort, and her story served as a gentle reminder that the smallest among us can create the largest ripples of change. The family often reflected on how their lives had been transformed since that fateful day, realizing that the encounter with Noah had opened their hearts to a new understanding of compassion and the importance of vigilance in their community. In the months that followed, the town saw a significant increase in participation in local charities and volunteer programs. Neighbors began to look out for one another more closely, forging connections that transcended the ordinary. The legacy of Whiskers' bravery continued to inspire acts of kindness and generosity, proving that even in darkness, there is always a flicker of light ready to guide the way. As Whiskers lounged in her favorite sunny spot in the living room, she remained oblivious to her newfound fame, but her family recognized the profound impact she had made. They took the time to celebrate her on a special day dedicated to honoring heroes in their community. The event featured stories of kindness, resilience, and the importance of standing up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. During this celebration, the family shared their story once more, highlighting how a blind cat had led them to a baby in need, forever changing their lives. They encouraged attendees to carry forward the spirit of compassion that had united them all, reminding everyone that every small act of kindness can contribute to a larger movement toward healing and support. As the event came to a close, the family looked around at the smiling faces, filled with hope and determination. They understood that while the story began with Whiskers, it had blossomed into something much greater. A community strengthened through adversity, a collective commitment to safeguard the most vulnerable, and an enduring belief in the power of love. In the end, Whiskers was not just a blind cat. She was a catalyst for change, a beacon of hope in a world that often feels overwhelmed. Her story, intertwined with that of Noah and the community, serves as a reminder that heroes can emerge from the most unlikely places, and that when we come together with open hearts, we can create a brighter future for all. As the sun began to set on that beautiful day of celebration, the warmth of community spirit enveloped everyone present. The family, along with Whiskers, stood proudly at the center of the gathering, reflecting on how their lives had been irrevocably changed. Each person in the crowd held a piece of the story, and as they shared their own experiences, the tapestry of compassion grew richer. Whiskers, blissfully unaware of her heroic status, basked in the love that radiated from those around her, often playfully swatting at the ribbons and decorations fluttering in the gentle breeze. The evening was filled with laughter, emotional speeches, and heartfelt tributes to the power of community. Stories of kindness echoed through the air, inspiring others to speak up about their own encounters with hardship and resilience. One woman shared how her neighbor had helped her through a difficult time, while a man recounted how he had found a lost dog and returned it to its owner, emphasizing that small acts can lead to significant impacts. This gathering became a profound reminder that every individual has the potential to be a hero in someone else's life, just as Whiskers had been for Noah. As night fell, the event culminated in a candlelight vigil, where community members held flickering candles, symbolizing their commitment to looking out for one another. The soft glow illuminated the faces of those who had come together, united in purpose. Whiskers, nestled comfortably in her family's arms, seemed to embody the very essence of the evening, a calm presence amidst the celebration of hope and the shared desire to create a supportive environment for all. In the following weeks, the momentum continued to grow. The Community Watch program, inspired by Whiskers' heroism, took off with resounding support. Neighborhood meetings became a platform for discussing not only safety but also mental health resources, parenting support networks, and ways to connect with local social services. Residents began to share their skills and experiences, offering workshops on everything from budgeting to cooking healthy meals on a tight budget, ensuring that families in need had access to vital information that could help them thrive. Whiskers, now a beloved figure, made frequent appearances at local events, often being carried in her family's arms as they participated in charity drives and community outreach programs. Children flocked to her, eager to pet the gentle cat who had led to the rescue of a baby. The connection between Whiskers and the community only deepened as people began to adopt their pets with renewed appreciation, recognizing the important roles that animals play in our lives. Local shelters reported a surge in adoptions, as families were inspired by Whiskers' story to provide loving homes for animals in need. Simultaneously, the story of Noah continued to draw attention. The baby thrived in his foster home, receiving all the love and care he needed to flourish. His journey became a rallying point, reminding everyone of the importance of child welfare and the responsibility society bears towards its most vulnerable members. Media outlets often featured updates, celebrating his milestones and highlighting the community's efforts to create a safer environment for all children. As the months passed, discussions surrounding child welfare became more pronounced, with local lawmakers taking notice of the growing awareness and advocacy. Community leaders began to push for legislative changes aimed at improving family support services. Town hall meetings turned into forums for discussing policies that could prevent future incidents of neglect, emphasizing early intervention and support systems for struggling families. The power of collective advocacy was becoming apparent, leading to tangible changes in the community's approach to child welfare. Whiskers, with her unassuming presence, had sparked a movement that transcended her initial act of heroism. She became a symbol of hope, representing the belief that every individual, regardless of their circumstances, can make a difference. Her story was shared not just locally, but it began to resonate on social media platforms, drawing attention from animal welfare organizations and child advocacy groups alike. People from various backgrounds reached out, eager to learn about how they could contribute to similar causes in their communities. The family, now deeply involved in their advocacy efforts, found themselves surrounded by a network of supportive friends and allies. They organized fundraising events, with proceeds going to local charities focused on family support and animal welfare. Whiskers often became the guest of honor at these events, drawing crowds and media attention, which in turn raised awareness for the causes they were championing. The bond between the family and their beloved cat grew stronger, as they realized that their lives had become intertwined with something much larger than themselves. In the heart of the community, a new tradition emerged, Whiskers Day, an annual celebration dedicated to honoring heroes in the community, whether they be human or animal. The event featured games, food stalls, and educational booths to promote awareness about animal adoption and child welfare resources. Families gathered to share their stories, all while celebrating the spirit of compassion that had been ignited by one little blind cat. As the first Whiskers Day approached, excitement buzzed in the air. Children painted signs, eager to express their gratitude for the cat who had led to a baby's rescue. Local businesses offered their support, donating supplies and services to make the day a success. The family felt a profound sense of gratitude, realizing that Whiskers had become the heart of a movement that brought their community together in ways they never imagined. On the day of the event, the sun shone brightly, illuminating the park filled with laughter and joy. Whiskers, dressed in a little cape emblazoned with the word hero, was the star of the show. Families gathered to hear the story of her bravery, while others shared how they had been inspired to take action in their own lives. The overwhelming sense of community love and support was palpable, proving that even in a world fraught with challenges, there is always room for kindness and connection. As the festivities continued, the family took a moment to reflect on the journey they had embarked upon since that fateful day. They understood that the legacy of Whiskers was not just about her extraordinary act, but about the ripple effect of compassion that had emerged from it. The smiles on the children's faces, the hugs shared between neighbors, and the collective commitment to advocate for those in need were all testaments to the power of love and unity. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, the family shared a final message with everyone present. They spoke of the enduring power of kindness and urged everyone to carry the spirit of Whiskers with them every day. They encouraged everyone to look out for one another, to reach out to those in need, and to remember that even the smallest actions can create waves of change. With the community now more connected than ever, Whiskers' story continued to inspire countless others. It served as a reminder that hope could emerge from the darkest of moments, and that compassion can bridge the most profound divides. As they left the park that evening, the family knew that they had found something truly special, a community united by love, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to making the world a better place for everyone. In closing, Whiskers' journey from a blind cat to a beloved community hero is a remarkable testament to the bonds that can form between humans and animals, and the extraordinary impact that one small act of kindness can have. Her unwavering spirit and the love she inspired in others serve as a guiding light, encouraging us all to foster connections, advocate for those in need, and embrace the power of compassion in our everyday lives. If you've been touched by this incredible story, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so now to join us in sharing more uplifting stories that remind us of the beauty of kindness and community. Together, we can create a world where compassion reigns supreme, one story at a time.